Good Saturday morning. Welcome to Sports Talk. Many different ways to listen this morning. Hopefully by FM and AM both, as we got the AM straightened out. Lanny did a week ago or so. Glad to have you with us. Beautiful outside, overcast skies. What's the temperature out there this morning? About 50? Something like that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No frost.
No frost.
No frost this morning. Of course, you wouldn't have the frost with the cloud cover. Why can't I find my weather button? Oh, it's a little cooler than 45. 45 degrees. Sun expected to be out around 10 a.m. this morning. High of 76. Have you guys seen the next few days?
Oh, yeah.
76, 79, 80, 80. And then drop back to 66. But the odd thing, and I know this can change on my phone at any time, maybe by the end of the show, no rain over the next however many days your phone shows, maybe 8 to 10. No rain.
Love it.
Time for a car wash.
Time for a car wash, yeah. A good one as well. Mine needs it. There's no doubt about that. Lots to talk about today. I mean, there are we're headed into spring break as far as high schools go. So there were very few games played last night on the high school scene in both baseball and softball. Got my first text of the morning. I'll let you guys guess who it's from. 2 words. Go Duke.
Go Duke.
Go Duke. 2 words. Go Duke. I'll let you guys guess who it is.
Go Duke.
It's not who you'd think right off the bat. Brett probably have a better chance than Mike.
Well, we know.
Helps any.
You know, Roger Cranford still has a team in it. UT.
And Roger would be saying go Duke, right?
Nope.
Well, then why did you even throw Roger out there? Roger's going to say go Vols.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out people you know who stay in touch with this show.
Yeah. Quite a few.
Go Duke.
Quite a few. And this is a name that I don't say every week.
Oh.
It's not the every week faithful like Rodney Willis and Don Revels and many more. I'm gonna leave somebody out. Monty Mosteller.
Well, Steve K wouldn't be.
K.
He wouldn't be awake.
He wouldn't be awake.
Monty Mosteller wouldn't be saying go
Steve
Duke.
just went to bed.
Neither would
Steve,
Rodney Willis.
Yeah, Steve just probably got in bed.
He might still be awake.
Yeah.
So that would be the way that it could be him. But no, it's here's your hint.
All right. Give me a hint.
He wears a younger man's clothes. Great. Now Roger's on here. Go Vols. See, we got the Roger this morning. Go Vols. Late night last night, basketball. Duke and Tennessee pick up big wins. Tennessee over Creighton. Duke over Houston to advance to the Elite Eight. You know, if you guys would have told me, I told you guys I'd have lost a lot of money if you'd have told me that Clemson and NC State would go further in the tournament than Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just this tournament. That's just the way it is. A lot of it has to do with matchups.
Mm-hmm. How you're shooting.
Yeah.
That seems to be everything.
It didn't bother. North Carolina's shooting did not cost them the game. Well, in a way it did.
Well,
and I'm hoping Lenny's going to make it this morning and be here. We'll let him talk about it a little bit.
When you put Baycock and R.J. Davis's stats together, I think it's about 14 for 45 or something, wasn't it? That's shooting.
Well, 0 for 9 from the three-point line is
line.
one thing that stands out to me. And how about the same thing earlier in the day for Caleb Love?
Yeah.
0 for 9.
0 for 9 from three-point.
So the backcourt mates who are linked together, what were they? 0 for 18 from 3.
Mike can do math in his head. Brett, you were wrong. Oh, yeah. You guys still hadn't guessed the
Tripper Crescent.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Bingo. You're exactly right. The hint that Brett would be more likely to get it than Mike had to play into that, right?
I guess so.
Big night last night for Duke fans along with Tennessee fans. NC State. I mean, the train keeps rolling, man. I mean,
hey, let's go ahead and start making those comparisons to the '83 run.
Bigger surprise, Clemson or NC State?
Oh, Clemson to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, see, the only reason I'd say
'Cause
NC State is
State
because
just
they had to
rolled through
win
the-
5 to get there.
I know, but they're on a roll.
They are on a roll.
Clemson was not on a roll.
Big boys have been on several rolls. Brown and serve rolls.
Well, they're similar in the fact that both of them were on a downward spiral going into the ACC tournament.
yeah.
Of course, then Clemson went out quickly, and State went on to win 5 games in 5 nights. But
Clemson lost by 21 to Boston College in their only ACC tournament.
Really?
Game. Yeah.
21 point
Yeah.
loss to
so
BC.
I would agree then, maybe Clemson.
Yeah.
They lost 3 out of 4 going into the
I would say it this
NCAA
way
tournament.
then. Clemson's a bigger surprise since the NCAA tournament started. I think State's still a bigger surprise if you go back to what they had to do.
Yeah.
Just what they had to do.
5 games
Yeah.
in 5 days.
Because
Well, Clemson has also beat New Mexico, Clemson was underdogs in that game, even though they were the higher seed. And they beat number 3 Baylor and number 2 Arizona.
Yeah.
So they've had a tougher road
Yeah.
than State.
State's wins have come over. You have to help me with them.
Texas Tech.
Okay.
And
Yeah. That's where I had them out. I had them
Oakland.
gone.
And then
Oakland.
Then Oakland out of Michigan.
Yeah.
And Marquette.
Yeah.
And Marquette, that's the first time I've seen them play all year, but they just they looked awful.
I wasn't impressed at all. Number 2 seed, Marquette.
Yeah,
Big
they
East.
did not seem to.
No.
And you talk about
Shoot the ball
poor
well.
shooting.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, yeah.
4 for 31 from 3
Yeah.
I mean,
and 20 for 60 overall.
Yeah. You're not going to beat.
And they missed 9
Many
free
teams.
throws. 14 for 23 at the line.
Well, I was going to say, did State's defense have something to play a part in that poor shooting? But they
Well, probably a
they
little
didn't
bit.
defend
Yeah.
the free throw line. What was their free throws again?
14 for 23.
no,
Yeah.
wow.
And State was just 6 for 12.
Yeah.
But State did hit 9 threes to Marquette's 4.
The tough question's coming up. Which one's more likely to make the Final Four, Clemson or NC State? Out of the ACC here.
God,
Clemson plays Alabama. State plays Duke.
I think both games are toss-ups.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, Alabama and Duke are going to be favored, but that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Alabama's 3.5 point favorite. Duke is 6.5.
Well, yeah, being favorite is the wrong thing to be in the NCAA tournament, it would seem.
Well, Alabama scores the ball. I mean, they run one of the most exciting offenses I've seen.
They are fun to watch.
But they allegedly didn't play a lot of defense, although I thought in the second half against Carolina they played pretty good defense.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I wonder what the breakdown was by points.
They played
Carolina in the 50s
Yeah.
at halftime.
yeah,
that's what I was
54,
thinking.
48.
Yeah.
Or something
How many
like
times
that,
are you going to score over 50 and a half and not
and not win the game?
right?
and just
not win?
33 in the second half.
Yeah.
Very seldom, I would think. But
And Carolina hit 12 threes in that game, but I think maybe 9 of them were in the first half, 9 or 10.
12 out of what though? Because
32.
You already
It's
mentioned
just-
that Love missed.
Davis.
Not Love, but Davis missed all 9 of his, which is, and it was a little bit of a gimmick defense that they ran.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Lenny, I'd like for him to talk about that a little bit, about what they did.
I think they forced him out deeper than he's comfortable with his threes, and then when he tried to get to the rim, I mean,
they had somebody in the lane helping.
and usually bigger players.
Mhm.
I mean, he could not get a pass to the rim.
Yeah. But, with the firepower that they have, I still think if one of their stars is he wasn't completely shut down. He had how many from the line? 14, 13 points
Yeah.
at the free throw line?
Which one?
Davis. I want to say he had
He had 8 free throws.
only 8?
Yeah, he had 16 points.
Okay. So the rest of those points came from 2
He
point
he made 4 shots and 8 free throws.
Hey,
he was 4
he's
for
not
20.
Goki or whatever it is that
4
don't
for
shoot any
20
2-point
overall.
2-point baskets. Did I say his name right? What is his?
Goki.
Goki. Okay.
Yeah.
Goki, who became kind of the darling of the tournament there for a few days, Golke. But
now the darling of the tournament is the Nelson kid, North Dakota State transfer for Bama.
Well,
he played awesome against Carolina.
Second half especially.
Second half.
He was really on fire in the second half.
Doing it on both ends.
24 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 blocks
for the game.
And he
Not a bad
averaged
stat
on the
line.
season 12 points, 6 rebounds.
How many times have we seen in the tournament one guy,
It happens.
So he
I'm telling
doubled.
you,
He
it
doubled
happens.
his
one unsung guy,
season
goes
averages.
It happens.
well?
It really does happen. That these guys, a guy gets hot, somebody gets the hot hand, and that's what leads to these upsets.
Mm-hmm.
That's what leads to these upsets.
And I really like Alabama's point guard, Sears.
Yeah,
He's
tough.
to me, he's better than R.J. Davis.
They need a Roebuck.
I don't know how old he is. I don't know if he's been there more than. Surely he's not a freshman. He doesn't play like a freshman.
Duke 54-51 last night in their win. The way that game started, if anybody saw the first 8 to 10 minutes of that game, you would have thought there's no way Duke would compete in that game, much less. How late in the half did Duke have still sitting on 10 points?
Yeah, about 6 minutes left to go in the half.
Yeah.
It was 16-10.
16-10.
Yeah.
That was what saved them. Was they played good defense, and Houston couldn't score either.
No, they couldn't. I sent both of you guys a message, said thankfully Houston cannot shoot.
And like those guys on the halftime show said, Houston probably felt like they should have been up 15.
Right. That's what Barkley said. That
with 5 minutes to go in the half.
all those
but instead,
opportunities.
It was a tight game.
Lenny says he thinks Sears is a fifth-year senior.
Okay, yeah, that's he plays like one.
Yep, that's the kind of people that are advancing in this tournament. So as a fifth year, did he play all of them?
I don't know. I don't know if he's been at Alabama the whole time, or I would guess not.
Nah, probably not at Alabama.
Okay, wasn't 100% sure. And still not, because you guys are.
No, I don't.
You guys are 100% sure. Either. Let's see. Where's my basketball?
No, he played at Ohio for 3 years.
Okay, a Bobcat.
Yep.
Ohio Bobcats for a few years there. Yep. Lenny says transfer from Ohio U, I think. Lenny, are we expected to see you here this morning?
Like
I know. Texting away unless he's got that voice activation going. Working well for him this morning. Yes, he says. Good deal. Yes.
He will be here.
Yes. On 2 wheels. Major League Baseball underway. We'll let Lenny get more in on the basketball stuff and try to hold off just a little bit and talk about that when he does ride. But the Major League Baseball underway this week. Any surprises to you guys? I know we haven't had enough sampling, but has anybody just stood out? Has anybody got multiple home runs already?
Mookie Betts. That's
Mookie
3.
does.
But they played four
They
games.
have played 4 games, yeah.
But still 3 and 4 games.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Pretty good pace.
Yeah.
At that pace, he will.
About 110, maybe something, or maybe higher. Maybe higher. I'd say 120. 120. But any team or anything, because like I said, we're not far enough in. I mean, a couple teams were washed out on opening day.
Yeah, some teams just with 1 game in so far.
Such as the Braves didn't get to play on opening day. Their scheduled opening day in Philadelphia, but they did play yesterday, and just the score's a little misleading in this game. I mean, the Phillies led 2-0. Braves come back, tied it, and then pulled away late. I think they scored
7 in the 8th.
Yeah. They even came from behind then in the 8th.
Yeah, well, they tied it in the 7th. 2 in the 7th, 7 in the 8th.
Okay. That's right. It was tied 2-2. Philly scored 1 in the bottom of the 9th. Yeah. That's right. So,
and the Braves did it without a home run.
Here's what's going to be the trick for me, and I'll say Lenny. Lenny, you sat in between Mike and you might have to straddle that chair over there.
I was sitting there in the parking lot when I did that.
Oh, okay. Holding out on us.
Good morning, highway patrol.
Oh, glad to have Lenny with us here this morning.
Going to dissect Carolina's fall.
Just looking at some of these baseball scores from yesterday. Lenny, as a Red Sox fan, this is what we can't afford. We can't afford for a pitcher to go out there and hold a team to one run. And not win.
About the 6th or 7th inning, wasn't it?
Yep. Yep, you're going to have to get it.
I mean, about the 6th or 7th inning, too.
Is that when it was?
I think he scored it.
Who pitched for Boston last night?
Pavetta.
Okay. Pavetta, and the young man that pitched on opening day, he was very good, too. Pitched good last year. I can't think of his name.
Balo. Isn't that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, it might be.
Balo.
But the Mariners beat them last night 1-0. Each team had just 4 hits in that game. I don't know anything about it. Was that a Cal Raleigh home run or RBI? Odds are against it.
J.P. Crawford home run.
A J.P. Crawford home run. They gave the Mariners that win. The Brewers beat the Mets 3-1. Braves, as we said, defeated the Phillies 9-3. The Tampa Bay Rays defeated the Blue Jays 8-2. Pittsburgh over Florida 7-2. Yankees outlast Houston. They outlasted Houston on Thursday. Yesterday they just pounded them 7-1. 12 hits for the Yankees. And the Astros playing their nemesis at home to open the season and down 2-0 in that series. And I'm guessing it's a 4-game series because usually you're going to play on Saturday and Sunday. Guardians defeat the A's 6-4. The Diamondbacks beat the Rockies 7-3. Giants over the Padres last night 8-3. Cardinals fall to the Dodgers 6-3 in Major League Baseball last night. There was something I was going to ask. Let's see. Monty said Lenny can't be a Red Sox fan and a Tar Heel fan and sleep well at night.
Monty can't be a Tar Heel fan and a Yankee fan.
Yeah. Now, there are more of those. The only thing he's got left out is for the trifecta is he's not a Cowboy fan because most Carolina Yankees are also Cowboys because they choose front runners, I'm
not there either.
But he's just missing the Cowboy. That's all he needs.
We're all right, Monty, then on that one. I'm not a Cowboy either.
If I remember correctly, it goes way back, and he's like Brett. He is a Redskin / Commander.
I think he's went to the Panthers.
Oh, has he?
I think he converted, yeah.
He went from bad to worse? It's a good thing that his baseball and basketball teams are good.
He can text you if that's not right, but I think he's a Panther.
So you think you switched to the Panthers in football and just gave up on his? I remember most of those that family, the Moss Taylor family. That was a family thing. I think they all the people in the family. I don't know that there was a black sheep that did not pull for the teams that the Moss Taylor family pulled for. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I do know his uncle, Frankie, was a huge Yankee fan. You might see him in a Yankee jacket in July. He was faithful to his team, that's for sure. Lenny, you're like me now. A lot of time. I'm like you now, I should say. A lot of time to watch TV and keep up with some of these games. Do you? Any baseball thing that stood out to you so far, and just basically 2 days in?
But I think the National League West now. I mean, I know the Dodgers are the team to beat, but boy, have the teams in there, everybody else stockpiled to try to. I mean, some of the late moves the Giants made. Houston. San Diego made a late move, got another pitcher. Arizona went late and got the last big free agent off the market in Montgomery.
And the lowly Diamondbacks. Now, here's my memory. Did play in the World Series last year, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Or 2-0. They actually lead that division.
They've scored 23 in 2 games.
Have they really?
Yeah.
What did they score that first day?
16.
1 inning, wasn't it? 14?
They had 14 in 1 inning and
really?
opening day. Yeah.
Day.
Were they at home?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That would be so bad for the opposition if you were sitting there on opening day and the team scored 14. That's okay at home because that's what the fans came to see. They'll sit through the long inning. But just to think with you know, I know people don't care for comparisons like this if you like one of these teams, but payroll comparison, it can't be 50%.
No,
Can it? And it's a long way to go. They still got 160 to play.
Right.
So they could wind up on top. They could wind up on the bottom. But it does look like the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Giants all have spent money.
The only one in that one looks like, is not in the 100 from the start is Colorado.
And Lenny, your team and my team are the Dallas Cowboys of free agency.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything. They sat around and didn't do anything. So I don't know how they expect to get better. How about the Pirates 2-0? They might go 2-160, but
let's
they're
enjoy it while we have.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoy it while it lasts. Outscored their opponents 13-7 in this short period of time.
Their team. I think in that division they're in, their team on the rise. I mean,
there's not a great team in that in the
there's
Central.
Opportunities there.
Yep. Milwaukee won that one last year, and then they did the division, didn't they? And then kind of floundered.
And they lost some people. I think they got worse in the offseason.
Oh, the Reds the best team in it.
And they lost. Didn't Craig Counsell leave Milwaukee?
He did. He went to the Cubs.
The Cubs, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Good manager.
Paid manager, I believe.
I think he's a good manager. What do you think, Mike?
I don't know.
Mike catching some Z's over there. You know anything about baseball? Your Giants are.
Wake me up in September.
Your Giants are 500.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
It is a long season. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a long season, but you know what? Really,
same thing for the NBA. Wake me up in.
And you know what? The NBA season on the calendar's longer.
Yeah.
Than baseball.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
A good bit longer.
Calendar,
right.
On
the calendar.
Yeah.
But 162 games, but they are crammed in. I mean, you're going to average 6 games a week.
Right.
In a 7-day week. So,
it's getting near the end.
Yep.
The NBA?
Yeah, only about 8 to 10 games left.
Mm-hmm.
Only about 8 to 10 games left in the NBA. Oh, I'm glad we brought that up because, boys, if I got when we go to a break, I'm going to ask you guys a question that concerns all sports.
By the way, Juju Phillips is watching Facebook.
Good morning, Juju.
Good morning, Juju.
Monty says Moss Tellers were. Now, he put were in here. Moss Tellers were diehard Yankee, Redskins, Tar Heels through the years. Little man is correct. He's talking to Brett, who's former Little Man, because new Little Man exists.
Yep.
Little Man is correct. Panthers, but still pull for the Skins. Snyder run the Redskins in the ground. Mm-hmm. Well, he did, but they're slowly trying to dig out of that hole.
Not there yet.
Actually, I shouldn't even say slowly. I don't even think they're slowly trying to get out of that hole. They've made some good moves in the off season. And Monty, picking. Here's one that I'll go ahead and ask him. As a Redskin fan, I think I know who Brett's is. His choice. If all those quarterbacks are available when Washington picks at number 2, if they stay at number 2, which one do you want? That's what I want. Don't tell him yet, Brett. Yours. Let's see who it is that he wants. Now, one of them's not going to be available unless the Bears do something bearish and trade out of it. I don't think they will now because they don't have a quarterback. Which leads me to ask, who is their backup quarterback with the young man from Ohio State being departed?
Yeah, I don't know. But, backup quarterbacks, they move around a lot anyway, so I don't know who it was and if it's even still what they had last year. But I don't know who filled in for Fields last year.
Yeah, it's
like you say, they move around so much, especially the backups.
Was it the guy out of Carolina, number 1 pick out of Carolina several years ago? I can't think of his name right now.
Trubisky. I think he was with
Pittsburgh.
He's last year.
He's been long gone from the Bears.
Okay.
He's done moved on.
He has.
Somewhere else, I can't remember. Is it New England, maybe? I might be making
I don't remember where he went.
The life of a journeyman quarterback.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and take that first time out. it's time for us to take our first break. Who's going first with the lyrics? Which one of you guys went first last week?
Don't recall. But,
I think I went last.
Who's prepared to give it?
I've got mine.
Go ahead.
okay.
Because now you were going to designate a decade here for us because we usually do classic rock.
Yeah,
and
we need decade.
Brett is going to designate a decade for
1990s.
Ooh,
the
the
90s.
grunge.
I'm going with Oasis. But go ahead.
I'm going with Nirvana right off the bat. Hey.
Waiting, watching the clock. It's 4 o'clock. It's got to stop.
I know it. We'll be back in a minute.
You know it?
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Dr. John Klunger III and Dr. Aaron Hebner's mission is to earn their patients' respect and trust through the commitment and positivity, and offer the dental solutions in a professional environment to improve oral and overall health. The practice will be accepting new patients. Just call 704-735-0765 to schedule an immediate appointment. We can provide services like extractions, crowns, bridges, fillings, night guards, cleanings, and deep cleanings, sleep apnea appliances, partials, and dentures. We can also advise determine a treatment plan for dental implants. Dr. John Klunger III and Dr. Aaron Hebner, 904 Doncha Drive, Lincolnton. Call 704-735-0765 to schedule your appointment and experience the dental profession in a warm and no-pressure environment. I'm telling you, the apple didn't fall far.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
It's time to get ready for spring. Time to head to Full Throttle Power Sports and 95 Trailers. Test drive an ATV or side-by-side today. Full Throttle Power Sports carries CF Moto, Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda, and Slingshot. And check out the trailers with brand names like SureTrack, Iron Bull, and Triton. Stop by or give them a call at 704-833-1270. Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Lowell. Online at ncfullthrottle.com. They deal in fun.
Hi, folks. This is Will Poteet, president and co-owner of RE/MAX Crossroads. The real estate market is ever changing, but it's not too late to sell your home for a great price. If you're thinking about selling your home, give us a call at 704-736-1717 to speak with one of our expert agents. We would love the opportunity to earn your business.
This is Creighton Kell with Kell Insurance. We have been helping people for over 25 years with all their Medicare needs. We represent the same national and local companies as the insurance agencies you see on TV. And you know what? We can sit down with you one-on-one and help you find the right plan just for you.
Kell Insurance is located beside the Cultural Center and behind Gillum Realty in downtown Lincolnton. 107 North Cedar Street. Call 704-732-4646 and follow them on Facebook. Kell Insurance.
I get the funniest text of the entire morning. And it's not meant to be funny, but it is hilarious to be. And I'm going to give you the name Tyson Badgett.
Yeah, that's the Bears' backup quarterback.
I had no idea.
Well, I was looking at their roster a few minutes ago.
I had no idea who that name was.
Still don't even.
Tyson. Lenny says still don't know it. If you can guess where he went to college, you have been reading too much. It's in West Virginia, and it's not Marshall, and not UWV. It is
WVU. That's what that is.
WVU. That powerhouse.
West Virginia Wesleyan.
That powerhouse Shepherd University. Yep. Pull your mic up, Lenny.
Shepherd University.
Shepherd University. Give me their nickname. The Sheep. Let's see. The kid's dad. This is stat of the day. If we have a stat of the day, this is it. The kid's dad is a great arm wrestler. If you're not, I'm guessing they're from West Virginia. What do you think? So far, David Wise, Gravy Man, and myself are the only two to get Brett's lyrics. Mike wants to hear them one more time.
Yes.
And they are.
Waiting, watching the clock. It's 4 o'clock. It's got to stop.
Waiting, watching the clock. From the 90s.
I can see Mike over there trying to think of every 60s song there is. And we've told him it's in the 90s.
I know it's in the 90s, yeah, which I'm very good on 90s.
Well, I'll give you a hint.
I'll
give you a hint then.
I listen to Lithium every day.
Who was the group of the 90s? And it's not debatable.
Wow.
Is it, Brett?
Oh, yeah, I'd say it's debatable. I don't
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's not.
Well, I knew who started grunge. That's my group of the 90s, and that's Nirvana.
Okay. Lenny got a 90s guess.
This one's still going.
Yeah. Still going strong.
But Nirvana was very short-lived. I mean,
Lead man's a big baseball fan, too. So that's a good one to use here with baseball
Foo Fighters
in the works. Rodney also has picked up a correct answer on the group. Yep. Yeah, this guy, the lead singer's a big baseball fan, and I've seen him sitting in the press box at Wrigley. Have you, Brett? I've seen him.
Yeah, he's a big Cubs fan.
Yeah,
Cubs fan.
Big Cubs fan.
You might not know him as being Chicago-based.
That's right.
You'd know him as being Seattle-based.
Yeah.
Seattle-based.
But he's from Chicago originally.
And you really can't find a better man. So.
Oh, Eddie Vedder. Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. What's the song? Want to guess? I gave you the ultimate hint.
Oh, yeah.
Better Man.
Better Man.
I told you.
Yep, you gave me the song.
Morning, fine sirs. Beautiful morning. Funny thing, how all my friends. Oh, don't be doing that, Butch. That'll come back to get you. Funny thing, how all my friends that are Tar Heel fans are now blood red. What?
Ooh,
are you, Lenny? Are you pulling for state over?
Not really. I've done.
Well, wait a minute. You have an excuse, though.
ACC.
You live beside Terry Reinhardt.
Yeah.
So your yard would be painted red.
The blood red is running off.
Good choice, Brett, with some PJ. That's Pearl Jam choice today, says Butch. Rodney says, nice clue. Even got Mike to get it.
Yeah, it's my favorite band that's still going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from that era.
Yeah, wouldn't you say they're the top band of that?
Yes,
especially with the longevity.
Yeah,
you know.
I wouldn't say during the '90s they were the biggest band.
You don't?
But as far as now,
you think Nirvana was?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, it wasn't to me because I was a bigger Pearl Jam fan than Nirvana, but that's just one person. So, I'll take your word for it. This is a long one, but I'm going to read it as we're going to get back into some basketball a little bit. First thing Jason Barber says on here is happy belated birthday, and I do appreciate that. State is the team that has been the biggest surprise for the entire month of March. In regards to UNC, a typical March pattern happened. A player has a bad shooting night in the tournament, and UNC loses. RJ's performance joins Rick Fox in 91. Wow, he's got a list here.
Oh, boy. Infamous.
And this is a Carolina fan. Rick Fox in 91, which I don't remember any of that. I can't remember who they lost to.
Kansas beat them, right?
Was it?
In the semifinal.
Yeah.
Dante Calabria in 95.
Oh, yeah, Dante.
Shamon Williams in 98. Isn't Shamon the one left the Coliseum one time? Went outside during the game?
Yeah, that was it.
That wasn't that tournament game.
I believe.
Was it?
Yeah, I believe it was in the regular season game.
Let's see. That was Shamon Williams. And Joe Forte in 2000. Danny Green in 07. So all those guys had poor shooting nights, I'm assuming is what he meaning when they were eliminated. When they were eliminated from the tournament.
Well, too bad it wasn't Caleb Love in 22.
No.
Because he did not have a poor shooting night.
He sure did
against
not.
Duke.
No, he didn't. No,
I don't know what he did the next game against Kansas.
Well, he sure didn't have a good shooting night on Friday, whatever night, Thursday or Friday. I mean, isn't it weird that they played on the same court?
Well,
the two guys that had the friction,
you're just talking about.
they both played on the same court, and they were both 0 for 9 from three-point range. That is ridiculous.
I told my daughter, I said, you got the two conference players of the year, those two conferences.
Right.
You got former teammates, played together 3 years, 0 for 9, 0 for 9 at the 3. 13 points for Caleb Love. What'd you say? 16 for RJ, and that was a late to get there. The free throw line got him to that point.
Yeah.
I mean, and playing in the same building.
What venue was that in?
To even play each other. I mean, that's almost eerie.
Was that in a super?
No, I don't.
See, a lot of times depth perception will mess with your shooting.
Played when they said
the other night.
Yeah, where Carolina and
it's the Lakers.
So it's just
crypto.
a basketball arena.
It's not
they don't really use the super places till Final Four.
Not much bigger than the Dean Dome, I would think.
Is the Final Four in Jerry's World?
No,
that's where Duke's playing right now.
It's in Phoenix.
Oh, it's in Phoenix. Why did I think it was in
Duke's
Dallas?
not playing in Jerry's World, but they're playing in Dallas.
Right.
Yeah.
They're playing at the Mavericks arena.
So it's in Phoenix. And it's at the football stadium, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's where you can really have your shooting messed with, is when you step inside
this was a regular arena.
Big arenas.
Yeah, they're just in NBA arenas right now. I don't know if all four of them are, but I know the one in Dallas and the one in L.A.
I want you guys to be honest here, especially Jason, Lenny, Monty. Who was the bigger disappointment on that night? Was it Love or was it Davis for their particular team?
They were both equally
ineffective. Honestly, I think Love's night was worse.
I say Love, and I'm a Carolina fan, but I personally think Love
was worse.
Yeah, I mean, if
I do too, because
if Love don't shoot good, I think it affects other parts of his game. And
Davis still did some good things.
He just didn't shoot good.
Right, he did some good things. Yeah. Love, I don't even remember doing anything. I don't know how many points he wound up with.
13.
13. So both of them were similar then.
Yeah, the points were almost.
Yeah.
I think with Love, you expect these kind of games sometimes. With Davis, you don't really expect.
Carolina's got more weapons
Yeah.
than Arizona, though. So I think Arizona missed his.
Yeah, they needed it.
They needed
it
worse.
More. Carolina
still scored 80-something.
And could have still won that game.
What I want to know
in spite of that performance.
Why a big man named Withers took the shot he took with about 30 seconds to go.
I thought that was
a 3.
I thought that was a critical to me 2 critical plays
early in the shot clock too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
15 seconds late.
Yeah.
2 critical plays. It was.
I would not have remembered his name, and that ought to tell you right there he shouldn't have been taking the shot. I wouldn't have remembered his name.
To me, when Baycott missed the jam, that was a 4-point turnaround because they could have went up. Should have got the dunk. Well, they went the other way and scored. That got Alabama. Alabama back in it, and then the bad shot that I thought was way too quick. not really what
It seemed
I
to be.
like the lineup. I mean, I've heard some people criticize, and I've been as critical of Hubert Davis as anybody. I didn't have a problem with the coaching. I thought the coaching was. I really didn't have a problem with putting Withers. I thought right there late when they made that little he went for a bigger lineup, and that helped with Withers.
Okay,
but
so
then he took a bad shot.
Cadeau was on the bench, the point guard, right?
Yeah, Cadeau and
I'm sorry.
Trimble.
Well, they were begging Cadeau to shoot, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And when he knocked down the first one,
Yeah,
it looked like that might be their wrong.
Trimble was the one
wrong
I would have
choice.
rather had in there
I would too.
than Cadeau, just because Trimble's a little more experienced and he
Better-
can shoot.
and he's a better defensive
Yeah.
player too. I mean, he's got
I'm not saying Hubert didn't do good, but I thought the Alabama coach
yeah. Well,
was-
I mean, I've been
was
critical.
awesome that night. Some of the moves.
I hadn't totally been
things
sold
he-
on Hubert, and I'm still not sure I am. But I heard a lot of social media blame. No, I can't. You can't make it go.
Well,
on this.
okay. First of all, when you lose and you get knocked out, every team goes
Right.
through it, especially when you're expected to
Right.
win. So they're gonna blame somebody.
Right.
You got it. You can't just take a loss. You got
That's
to pass
exactly
it on to
I
somebody.
hadn't thought all year that Carolina was really talented. I just thought they play really hard.
But I thought they were deep.
they play good defense and they
play
got
good defense.
leadership.
To
but-
me, the biggest thing I thought was the leadership.
Yeah.
and that came from the two transfers.
And I think Harrison
Ingram
Ingram has
and-
been. I think he's been their best player from what I saw.
Well, the guy that came from Notre Dame had
Corey
a couple
McBride,
big nights.
yeah, he did.
yeah.
He,
Well,
he
I
had a
think-
big night in that loss.
Yeah, he did. He did play well the other night, especially early.
I think I read this earlier in the year too, that they said in huddles, Ryan was talking. So maybe student need talking when he didn't need to. Ingram talked some and said that brought RJ and Baycott in more with the conversation. But I think they're more quiet leaders, and I think that those two have brought them together. They've just placed together as a team. I agree with you,
Yeah.
Brett. That,
So
to
can
me, that
bringing
was the
in
greatest
transfers
thing.
cause friction?
Do what?
Can bringing in transfers cause
It can.
friction?
It can, but it
did
didn't.
with
It
this
didn't
group.
in their case.
Okay.
And I think that's the
Those guys fit right in.
pot shot you take when you bring in
Well-
transfers. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Same thing happened when they made the run to the Final Four 2 years ago. What was the kid's name?
Brady Manick.
Manick fit
Yeah,
right in.
yeah, he did fit right in. Well, they've done well.
Yeah, it
with
worked.
Transfers.
with those two.
Yeah.
And Harrison
maybe
Ingram
more, but
still
those
got
two really.
another year or
He's
two.
got another year.
Who does?
Ingram's got
Harrison
another
Ingram.
year.
I'm gonna finish Jason's message here. Also, give credit to Nate Oates for the second half defense adjustment,
Oh, yeah.
which forced Hubert to counter and playing a different second half rotation than normal. So I'm guessing that the Nate Oates is the
Yeah,
Alabama.
yeah, he's-
I couldn't
yeah,
remember
he's
his
really
name.
good.
Where'd he come from?
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
University of Buffalo.
Yep. He's not a real young guy. How? 40s?
He was,
Late 50s?
he,
late
was
40s.
he was a high school coach in Detroit for many years, I think, and then got the opportunity to go to. He may have taken Bobby Hurley's. Wasn't Bobby Hurley at Buffalo before he went to Arizona State?
I
Took
believe so.
Yeah, I think
his
so.
place,
Yeah.
I think. So there was probably pretty good talent in place when he got there, and then he did well there, and then went to Alabama, I think.
Yep, that's it. Buffalo. He was an assistant, so he might have been there with
I believe he
Hurley.
was. Maybe.
coached at Buffalo from 15 to 19, and then Alabama since 2019. But yeah, he was a high school basketball coach for several years before that. He's 49.
And we asked this question a little earlier about whose performance you think cost his team the most, RJ or Love. Jason says, for me, it's RJ's performance, as it was the first time he shot so poorly all season. RJ made. Honestly, I credit that to that coach, that Alabama coach. He caused a lot of that.
They put length on
Put a
it.
lot
did.
of length on
They
it.
did.
Yeah, that was the thing.
That was the thing.
Yep.
He couldn't get to the rim, and his outside shots, they were forcing him out
Wow.
further.
This is another stat of the day. It may, I don't know if it tops the arm wrestling, but he said that R.J. Davis had made a three in every game this season until
He sure have.
Thursday night, and all it would have took was one.
And I believe
if you
it-
look now, the game might have come down
And I believe
differently.
it was 40-some
But-
games overall, so it went into the
But one
previous season.
3-pointer, if you just look at it, could have won that game. I'll put it that way. It could have won that game. On the season, he made over 100 threes. Caleb having a bad shooting game is a typical thing for him. So, yeah, and it's, 6 one, half dozen the other. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, as surprised that Love was off that night as I am Davis, But
one thing I thought
got to have those guys
about Alabama was every time Carolina would get up 6 or 7, they would hit a big shot. Every time they needed a big shot, they hit it.
Didn't they go up like 12 twice early in the game? 10 or 12 early in the game?
Yeah.
Early, yeah.
And
Alabama I didn't realize how many shooters they had because their top shooter was out.
At that crazy pace. I just wonder, one time, Lee, did you ever think Carolina ought to take the air out a little bit?
What?
Because Alabama don't seem to be able to score in half-court offense.
That's right.
I thought at halftime, because both teams had played so hard, I thought both of them were almost exhausted at times in the second half.
I could see that.
And I don't say it's so much physical energy, but probably the emotional energy, mental that you use. Mm-hmm. And first of all, you got the pressure of the NCAA on you, and do or die. And I thought they was exhausted. Late shooting, sometimes that is what it.
It's harder to play in those games when you're favored.
Yeah, it is.
I mean. I sent somebody a message last night saying I was glad Duke was the underdog.
And like you say, somebody steps up. I heard you talking about this right when I pulled in. The kid that, what was his name? Nelson.
Is that it, Brandon?
Yeah. 24.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a good game because I believe I heard he had 6 points prior to that.
And he did a lot of other things too.
I'm
3 and 3. Their first 2 rounds, he had three in each game.
He did a lot of other things too besides score.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
he had 12 rebounds?
Yeah, big rebounds.
5 blocks.
Season high, I believe, and he stepped up.
And he played way more than usual because they were missing one of their best guards. Yeah.
Mm. How many times have we seen an unsung player come up in an NCAA tournament game to lead a team to an upset? And they have that.
Well, it seemed like they put some stats on the screen after those after that cup when that happened. But other guys that have. I did see one stat last night that had David Robinson's the only person to do it 5 times. Did you see that thing pop up on the screen late last night? It was 2010.
2010
in 5 straight. I think it was 5 straight NCAA tournament games. He was the only one that done it 5. There were some guys you'd recognize that did it 4. Battier did it 4. Larry Bird was on that list.
So
there was only 2 more names.
What brought it up? I'm guessing Zach Edey.
Yeah,
did
it was the Edey thing. What he did last night. I just keep waiting on that team to crash. I don't know why. I don't want them to.
No, they're not. They're not going to.
Okay.
I don't think it's good.
Now they could lose to Tennessee.
Purdue just don't win any.
But I don't think they're going to just collapse.
No.
They're too good.
No.
Yeah, and he's the he's the big reason why.
And this don't mean a thing, but you kind of think about what Virginia did.
Yeah.
Lost in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
and
a 1
come
seed.
back the next year and won, and that's almost the same track
they're
on, but a better team.
That's been mentioned.
Yeah.
The fact that coming back
and
from
I know it's
losing to a 16 seed the next year with a real purpose.
And it's different players, I understand, and it's different years. But just like you were talking about State earlier, you still got that ideal of what happened in '83.
State's playing with house money right now.
Guys wasn't even born.
That house money team is the worst opponent you can have, and that's who Duke's got next. I mean, they got to play State, and State's like, hey, we ain't supposed to be here.
Right.
We have no pressure.
Been like that every game since the tournament.
And they're playing like it.
I keep waiting for them, like you said, the mental energy. I keep waiting on theirs to run out, but it's not.
It's not going to. No.
Jason says, I understand why Cadeau and Trimble didn't play in the second half. Alabama was sagging so far off of those 2 players that it clogged the lane. Well, yeah, because they were the worst outside shooters on the court. That's why they played that kind of defense. Alabama was sagging so far off those 2, it clogged the court. Hubert putting Wojcik on the floor allowed for another shooter and some spacing.
But Trimble, he took 2 threes and made both of them. So,
all right, here's what I want to know from Carolina fans' perspective. Did you expect the Tar Heels to win that game? And this is the most disappointing loss since. ... I mean, it's the NCAA tournament. You know, you really know anybody could win because that's just what the tournament's made of. But, you know, I told these guys, Lenny, before you got here, if you'd have told me State and Clemson would be playing and Carolina's not.
Would not, yeah.
You could have took a lot of money from me.
Well, like I think I sent you that text the other day. The ACC had more people from the 919 area code.
Yeah.
In the tournament than the Big Ten.
Yeah, 3 teams in the triangle.
You know, and if you would have told me it right now that there's 2 of them's left, I would have said, and Carolina would have been one of them left. That's kind of the way I would have believed that. You know. So I guess I was disappointed. When you're playing a team that you really think you ought to beat, but I'm talking about in the earlier rounds, you don't want to let them teams hang around because the later the game gets, the tighter you get. But I had even said to Sarah, and I said, these are 2 good teams, and this thing, nobody's going to run away from anybody. I don't know what's going to happen. I know Carolina had an 8-9 point lead to half, but I said this game's going to go to the wire. Whoever has the last, run? Is that the word to use? And it kind of come out to that. But
you'd rather lose by 10 or 2.
Oh boy,
that's always bothered me when I lose a close one. And I know one little thing changes here.
Play, on this play, or that.
Yeah. I mean,
you just don't want to see your team blow it.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I can handle a 2-point loss if it's just the other team just beats you, but you don't want to. Like if you're up by 8 with 30 seconds left and lose by 2, that's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
But. Yeah, I just don't want to see. I just don't want to see my team.
And I don't want to throw rocks.
Just totally give it away.
He did some good things late, but I kind of agree with Mike. You take a 3-point. You're up a point.
Yeah.
You're up a point. You got the ball. You don't need a 3 now. You might have to take a 3 before the shot clock runs out, but you're up a point. You don't need a 3. You take a 3, and then he compounds it by going to the other end of the floor. Nelson catches it in the paint. Scores and he fouls him. And that
Yeah, there's so many little things that you can
they sagged off
pick
of him. You could
on.
have dribbled probably into the foul line there if he's determined to shoot, but he didn't.
They did. I mean, if you could ask Alabama, what would you like to happen on this possession? It'd be Wither shoot a 3 early in the shot clock. Right. I mean, they couldn't have asked for anything.
One of you guys said earlier, and this is the way I thought about that. I thought about it last night with 5 minutes to go. How's the timing going to come out? Because the team with the last run, both of them went like on 6-0 runs, just over and over and over. It weren't huge runs, but just 6-0 and take the lead or tie it up or whatever. But Alabama had the last run. Alabama had the last run. I mean,
right there,
and that's kind of what it came down to, was that last run. A couple comments here. Butch says, great coaching move for Duke last night was Shire going with Ryan Young early to help out.
I totally agree with that.
And I've cussed that guy all year.
But you shouldn't have last night. He did his job.
Well, he still did a couple things.
Yeah, but he gave him some.
He played hard.
He just gave him the size that
he played hard.
They didn't have without him because Mitchell was just lost.
Mitchell was lost.
He looked awful.
Yeah, he disappeared. They bring in Young. He plays hard. He only had 4 points and 4 boards, but I just thought the way he impacted the game defensively.
Yeah, he did have a better game than 4 and 4.
Yeah,
and I didn't mind his 5 fouls because Houston struggled at the free throw line.
He plays hard. Yeah, but that game kind of fits the mantra of who he is playing.
Yeah, right. You know what? He has to play hard because he's not gifted with talent.
No, if Duke was playing Alabama, there would be no place for Ryan Young in that game.
No, he couldn't play. He better stay on one end.
He couldn't play. He couldn't play.
But against a team that like Houston, that I mean, they play a lot like Virginia.
They do.
They just their defense is way more aggressive.
They're more aggressive.
But on offense, they play kind of like Virginia does. Yeah. They're going to use the shot clock. and they try to pound it inside, and that was a perfect game for Ryan Young.
I thought the score of the game. I mean, if you told me before, it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be in the 50s,
Houston would win.
Houston's going to win
Yeah.
the game. Yeah.
Well, Duke had 10 with at the 4-minute timeout or something, didn't they? At the first half, they still were just sitting on 10 points or something. They hit them in the mouth to start with.
Yeah.
Oh.
And fortunately for Duke, they took it. They took it and
Yeah, that
rebounded well
first
because of it.
5 minutes, Houston looked like the best team in the country.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I thought they
Yeah,
did too.
yeah.
But then
Duke couldn't score.
even before Shed went out with the injury, Duke had gotten back in it, and I thought it was anybody's game. And then when he went down, they just lost their leadership.
I will say this now. I thought about this all night. Believe me. Yes, him going out was a big reason that Duke won that game. But guess what? Duke goes through this crap every single year that they lose a key player.
Well, they've got one out right now.
They do.
Their best point guard is out right now.
They lose a key player every year with an unidentified this injury, whatever it may be, and then it ends with out indefinitely.
The only thing worse for Houston was Houston had to adapt to it in the middle of the game.
That's right.
game.
That's
Right.
right. When I saw the guy, I thought he'd come back. When I saw
I
him
did
on
too.
the cart,
Yeah.
when I saw him on the little scooter, I said he ain't coming back. He ain't got a shoe and a sock on. He's not coming back in this game.
And I didn't even think it looked like that bad of an
it looked
ankle
pretty
to
bad
him.
to
I
me.
mean,
it was pretty bad.
those commentators
It was
acted
old.
like it was. They were calling it severe, and
That's what it was diagnosed as.
I was like you. It didn't look, but
Wasn't
I guess
broke,
maybe the torque.
most doctors will tell you
it was
a severe
worse
sprain.
than-
A severe sprain is worse than a break.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this:
to me, it's usually worse the next day.
he
2
wouldn't have
days
been playing
later.
tomorrow.
No.
No,
He wouldn't have been playing
No, it was
tomorrow.
going to be worse tomorrow than
That's
it
right.
was last night.
Butch ends his comment with, "This is a Duke fan's perspective who is decidedly unabashed." A couple more here. Jason said, "My expectation was for," and then we're going to take a timeout. Mike's going to give us his lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Got them ready because my computer just died. Jason said, "My expectation was for UNC to get to the Final Four and lose to UConn in the semifinals. Who, with all this talk, I still think UConn is the clear favorite to win this Final
Yes,
Four.
no question.
This is the most disappointing loss since UNC lost in the Sweet 16 in 2019 to Auburn," says,
Yeah.
That's I could.
God, I don't even remember.
the first one that came to my mind that people might say was just the national championship a couple years ago when they lost to Villanova.
No,
But they both played good.
well, they both played good. And
One shot. I
Yeah.
mean, it came down to the
It just-
last second shot to decide that. Monty. Now Monty's got my mentality here. I'd rather lose by 100 than 2. I mean, I think that a lot too. Now, I'm not sure I want to see a 100-point spread up there on the board because you're going to be known forever. But
Well, that game last night started out looking like Duke was going to lose by 100.
yeah, and it was,
Yeah, it did.
well, I don't know. I thought it looked like it was going to end 30 to 15.
Yeah.
They wasn't going to score enough to get 100, but it looked
Right,
It
yeah.
looked-
They looked like they might not score for the first 5 minutes. I mean, they couldn't
But,
do anything.
can we now put to rest the idea that Duke is soft? I think we can.
Well,
put
they've
that
been
to rest.
forced out of it.
Yeah.
They've been forced out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, they
were soft for 30 games, and now
they were soft for 3 minutes last
they've
night.
toughened up.
And they got busted in the mouth, and all of a sudden, time out, and they came back out. And
Well,
played
but a
little
couple of
different.
those early turnovers, it's like it wasn't even the pressure; it was nerves.
Nerve, yeah.
Like Roach just lost the ball and gave Houston a layup, and then he throws one 5 feet over the head of whoever he's trying to pass it to out of bounds. It's just, I thought it was nerves.
You guys were texting me, and we were hammering Roach because he's the senior, and he was playing like this, and still I think he's the reason they won the game.
Oh yeah, he made
definitely is.
huge shots.
He was playing like he did when they got to the Final Four in
Yeah.
Krzyzewski's last year.
We had a terrible first half and a great second
All
half.
14 points in the second half.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, correct.
So-
And he's a guy that I don't know if he's going to have an NBA career
No,
or
I don't
not.
think so.
I don't. He's a
Well,
college
I'm
player.
glad he stayed.
I mean, he's
Right.
what 6'1", not real athletic.
Right.
He's just in college he can get to the spots he
Yeah,
wants to get to
he can.
and shoot. But yeah, he'll have trouble doing that.
He's not going to be able to
in the
shoot
NBA.
over
Man,
Well, now he's got another
He-
year.
he could come back.
He could come back.
Yeah, he could.
And they might be begging him to, depending
You know what?
on
You
what
might as
other
well-
guards leave.
Hey,
No.
you know you're not going to be in those first 2 rounds of the draft.
Yeah.
You might as well come back. You know.
You can make more money with the NIL at the
NIL.
college level when you're not going to be a
Absolutely.
guaranteed pick, high pick. I mean,
Here's another one from Butch. Mike, you got your lyrics ready? We're going to do them here in just a second. Butch says, "I'm so glad that the way he's got it spelled here, Pitkowski, Pitokowski, Filipowski, I think is where he's going, was nowhere near the injury, so that the fans can't blame him for being dirty." And he said the Carolina fans, but I left that part out. Just can't blame him for being dirty.
Oh, hey, I've watched him play, 70 games now. I think he's a little dirty.
Yeah, he'll.
Well, I think every team's got somebody that's
Yeah.
a little
He's
dirty.
a little.
well,
He's got a little Allen in him.
even on game day, I might have been before the Duke Carolina game. They had a sit down interview with him, and he said he liked being the late
The villain.
Yeah.
racing. You know,
Yeah.
Well,
You know.
I think Duke teams need that.
yeah.
I think they need that kind of
I mean,
player.
he's not in the same class as Leitner.
No.
He's got a little bit of that New York meanness.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Leitner did.
Yeah, I don't want to have to rely on him to hit the whatever 20-foot bucket.
Turned around
from-
20-foot bucket.
Yeah, at the end of the game.
Nah.
No, but he
He will
hit some big
force a shot.
shots
at it.
last
He
night.
did, but he
He
will
did.
force some too.
Yeah, he had some big threes, though.
He hit some big ones when it looked like they had no chance of scoring.
right.
Yeah.
He bailed them out.
Oh, that 1-3 he
Shot
hit
clock at the
was.
top.
Yeah.
He had to
Shot.
shoot it.
Big shot.
Yep, he had to shoot it. He had no choice. Time was running out. All right, Mike, what you got for us
Oh.
for lyrics here?
Okay, this is from the decade of the 60s. If you should ever leave me, though life would still go on, believe me.
One more time.
If you should ever leave me, though life would still go on, believe me.
Question of the day: who is your most hated team in sports? Back in a moment.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln has been serving the Piedmont of North and South Carolina since 1919. Sure, they deliver to your home with home heating oils. They'll help keep you warm, but they do a whole lot more. They feature bulk fuel delivery, on-site and commercial fueling, backup generator fueling, and farm and agricultural fueling. For home or business or farms, call on Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln, 704-735-2508. Online at rhodesandbill.com, located at 1404 East Main Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook too.
For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10, and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Western Steer Family Steakhouse in Newton has the best food around. Their buffet is like no other. Fried chicken, meatloaf, baked chicken, beef tips with peppers and onions, pintos and macaroni cheese, green beans, yams, and the best salad bar around. Hours of business Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Western Steer Family Steakhouse, 334 Southwest Boulevard, Newton. Call for takeouts at 704-325-3926. Like them on Facebook.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Call Mr. Sparky today at 704-499-8119.
Since 2015, Zeus Auto Repair and Performance has proudly served the greater Lincolnton area. Jay, John, Tucker are there to meet all your automotive needs, including oil changes, brakes, suspension, car detailing, North Carolina state inspections, and much more. With 3 licensed state inspectors on site, you're sure to receive the quickest and best service in town. Stop by and see the boys of Zeus Auto Repair and Performance, located at 1122 South Aspen Street in Lincolnton, the old Rose Brothers service station, next to Randall's Grill for all your automotive needs. Open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call them today at 704-240-3061. Zeus Auto Repair and Performance.
And welcome back.
I'll give you more.
Good Saturday morning. Glad to have you with us. You guys ready to roll?
Yeah.
Let's see. I got a few messages rolling in here. Monty says his is definitely Duke. Butch Parker says his is the Dallas Cowboys. Mine is not going to be one that you would expect, I think. You guys got one you hate the most? A sports team you just...
North Carolina. No question.
North Carolina? Okay. More than the Dodgers?
I respect them, but I still hate them.
Right, and that's a rivalry.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Lenny?
Yeah.
Can I have 2?
Sure.
Yeah. Yankees.
Yeah.
And Duke.
Yeah, Yankees is hard for me not to.
Yeah, since you're a Boston fan, of course. I get it.
But I've learned to live with it. Brett?
Cowboys.
Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Mine's the Golden State Warriors. I do not.
Golden State Warriors?
I do not. I am. I'll tell you what.
Because of Draymond Green. I know that's what it's about. Right.
And the spoiled brat.
Oh, Steph.
I'm not a fan.
Steph. Okay.
So, not a Draymond fan at all, and he just keeps on and on and on.
Well,
and
I
never
admit
stops.
he's
and the spoiled brat that can shoot threes from 50 feet. That slings his mouthpiece into the bleachers and nothing gets said about it. It goes unheard, and But I do like one thing about the spoiled brat. He's finally upset and mad about Draymond's antics.
Yeah. The antics, yeah.
So, but yeah, that's.
They were in Charlotte last night.
Oh, I should have went.
And I saw Draymond was at he was like the guest at some kid's camp or practice of some kind or something yesterday. I guess it was yesterday morning.
What god-awful product gave him a commercial?
I know.
I mean, he's doing a commercial.
Oh, he's all over. He's all over TV.
This one even says
before he comes such a rear end, he's doing Campbell soup.
And I liked him at Michigan State. I liked him at Michigan State, but Izzo kept him under control. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm gonna make this compare. Now, this might be totally off base because I know he's a pro, but this guy don't have that type of attitude. But Harrison Ingram at Carolina is kind of like to me the Draymond Green of North Carolina. Except with not the attitude.
I started saying
he can make shots.
I've not noticed. I thought you were going to tell me that he likes to argue with the
not the
officials.
Not that.
Draymond's problem is he don't know when to quit.
But everything else on the court that he does, a long time I thought, is he that good? But you know, if you look at all the little things he does, take away his attitude.
I love what Monty just sent me. Since you let Lenny have two, I'll add the Red Sox. Love it.
I thought when Carolina lost Thursday night, right, I wouldn't have to see Baycott's hairdos again. But then I saw him on a commercial last night during the Duke game.
Yep.
Right?
And that's is it a food?
It was
TurboTax.
It's tax.
Tax.
I thought he was on a Jersey Mike's or something.
Well, he might be. I think he's eating a sub.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it was.
It's a TurboTax.
But it's a is it turbo or some kind of Intuit tax or something.
Yeah, because don't even mention NIL in the commercial, and because he'll need tax people
finances
now,
or whatever. Yeah,
I like Richard Howe's answer here as well for most hated team. All Philadelphia teams.
Okay.
But I love the Philadelphia fans.
Yeah.
Any fan base where you have to have a jail cell in the basement, as they had at the old Veterans Stadium. Their fans. I don't know if you think about the fan bases across the country. New York's got good ones, but they rarely have anything to cheer about.
Right.
I mean, even the Yankees are on a drought right now as far as championships go. No offense, Monty. I'm just,
just making a point.
I used to hate the Celtics, but we only got one title in the last,
well, that's what I was going to say.
35 years.
If it's
they're good, but they're still.
If it's a city you hate, it should be the Boston area, because there for a while they were winning in all four sports, winning championships in all four sports. Right. Now, they might have got just one in basketball and maybe just one in hockey, but football and baseball were definitely getting their share.
But I never disliked the Patriots, even when they, when they were good and winning. I liked them.
Yeah. Obviously, I'll probably be wrong. I don't think we'll ever see the Patriots get back.
And the Lakers-Celtics rivalry is really falling off. I don't think they hate each other. Definitely not like it was in the 80s when they were. Yeah, they only met once in the finals, and
that has a lot to do with it. They haven't
30 years.
Mike Powell, I have no answers on your lyrics. Throw them out there again, and you might want to do a second line.
I'm going to give you a second line.
Okay.
And I've got some more here if you don't like those.
Now you only get to do one.
If you should ever leave me, though life would still go on, believe me, the world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do?
I think I know who it is.
Okay.
Beach Boys?
You got it.
God only knows.
God only
knows.
That's
it. I get it now.
God only knows.
Yep, that high-pitched, if you should ever leave me. Yeah.
That's it, 1966.
1966 for Mike Powell's.
Yes, sir. You got good job there.
Lyrics. Let's see. Jason says, I honestly think Draymond's annex the other night in Orlando was done because he wanted the night off. Well, that's an odd way to get it. The night before the Orlando game, Golden State had played in Miami, so he probably just needed to recover. To get ejected from a game in the first 4 minutes is ridiculous, is what Jason says.
Yeah.
In the first 4 minutes of the game. And I think I saw the spoiled brat go over and just destroy a chair with his foot whenever Draymond was tossed out of the game. So, did I, or am I dreaming that?
I don't know.
You guys didn't notice. Just something to throw out there. as far as other teams go, it has to be your rivals. You know, obviously one of mine's going to be Carolina basketball. One of them's going to be the Yankees.
And I used to would have said Michigan football, but now that Notre Dame doesn't play them every year,
yeah.
You know,
Right.
I don't hate them like I used to.
Aren't they going to start again? Did I not read they're going to renew that?
I hope so.
Yeah,
but I don't.
That was
know.
a great game to play early in the season.
And I don't like Southern Cal football either, but that's not.
Mike likes Texas football.
I don't like Texas football.
That's not the way.
Forgot about that.
Like
Texas
it was 20 years
football.
ago.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're so far removed from that rivalry. You know, we're and just
you didn't mention Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm not an Ohio State fan in anything,
but I like them a lot better.
Well,
than
let me
Michigan.
tell you, it has absolutely nothing to do with Ohio State's teams. It's the fan base. You know, I was at a place one time where I didn't know, but an establishment in Charlotte that was an Ohio State
fan club
bar.
Gathered.
Yeah, and I'm like, you got to be kidding. I got to get out of here. This is, you know, and I'm sure every one of them's like that. It just happened that I run across the Ohio State one. So every fan base is going to be unbearable if you're the only one or only.
Well, that's all any of this is, really, isn't it? The fan base.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think anybody really hates a team.
But I think people might actually hate Duke.
They do,
and not just their fans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
but Carolina doesn't have any players or coaches or anybody that I dislike.
They discuss that on.
But that's why I say the Cowboys, because I don't like Jerry Jones.
They discuss that on Dan Patrick quite a bit about Duke being the villain, and we'll keep it for a while. And you know, it was like, well, why isn't some of these other teams the villain? Well, they're not consistently on the radar. You know what I mean? I mean, they're like, well, UCLA wasn't the victim. I mean, wasn't the villain back when they were winning championship year after year after year. Well, one thing about it, they might have been on the West Coast, but we were so far away from UCLA, we had no reason to hate them.
It was a different era too.
Yeah, right. Everything wasn't televised.
And then you know what UCLA did, and taking nothing away from them, they played out of the West every year, and there's no competition. You know that it was a cakewalk to the Final Four. That's when they're
only 24 teams in the field.
Yeah, did Carolina ever play them in the tournament?
68.
Yeah. They played in the title game one time.
Lost to them in the title game.
Yeah, Charlie Scott.
Because I would say that would be the only way you would come to hate them, is if they beat you.
Yeah, Charlie Scott, Larry Miller lost to them.
But you know, I hate to say it this way, but if you played UCLA in the 70s, and you expected to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, you know.
But that's probably who hated them, were the teams that they played all the time.
Yeah.
Not a team that just played them once in that span.
I think the villain right now, and it's diminished, and it's going to diminish more, but is Alabama football.
Yeah, right.
You know, I think that's still a villain that, I mean, that I can promise you this, you're marking all these games on your calendar and you're an SEC team, that one's highlighted more than any other, don't you think? Because, and I don't know what will happen now without Saban. I mean, Saban's one of those guys that I like him. He speaks his mind. I think he's good for football. Yeah. But, you know, there'll be a lot of people that are glad he's gone. That might take a little bit of hate away from Alabama. In fact, they don't win national championships like one every 3 years will also take some of that away, too. So I don't know who your college football team is.
That you hate.
Yeah. And, you know, college basketball, I don't even, you know, Duke probably is the most hated nationwide.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, it's probably all just regional. You know, I mean.
I hate Virginia.
Ohio State hates. You don't hate Virginia, you hate their style.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, if they played a different style of basketball, you'd be okay with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
well, it's definitely not their fans or anything.
Right.
It's their style of play.
Great school, good fans, but the way they play, their style of play.
But they won a national championship with it.
I know.
I mean.
They did.
You know.
But they had some shooters that year, did they not?
Will they change what they do and try to?
They're going to have to make some.
They're going to have to make changes. They hit rock bottom in that play-in game. I mean, they were ridiculed nationally.
Or if they're not going to change their style, they need to recruit some better shooters than what they've had the past couple of years.
He's going to have to bring more offensive firepower in.
Yeah.
I don't think you go away from the pack line because it's been successful.
No, you don't go away from the pack line.
And you can still play the same pace. You just got to be able to make more shots than what they're making right now.
Let's see. Did we get all the way through everything last night? Purdue beat Gonzaga 80-68. One of Mark Few's best jobs. Agreed.
Yeah, they
because
really
they
have
not a talented team,
not as talented, nope,
as they usually are.
Yeah, they pretty much
overachieved.
Yeah, or at least met expectations because they were a Sweet 16 team, but that's about it.
What were they? What is it? 7 or 8 straight Sweet 16.
I think it's 9.
Yeah, it's 9.
Right. 9.
It's 9.
That's pretty consistent.
Yes, that is. Very, very consistent.
Don Rebel says he's be curious to know Coach Hall's opinion on UVA.
Yeah. Well,
being a Virginia fan and a basketball coach,
I do not ever see him that he's not wearing Virginia attire of some kind. But I was going to have Sullivan ask him next time we saw him was who's Virginia play today. And I'm sure he would not like that comment too much. Jason says Virginia style works when they have pros on the roster. Their 2019 championship team had 3 NBA players on it.
Yeah, okay.
Most teams style will work if you have 3 NBA players on your roster.
And 2 of them were very veteran too.
That's right.
Jerome and Guy.
Yep.
I think he's a sophomore, but and he was the best pro of the bunch. What was his name?
Hunter.
Hunter, yeah. DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
Duke 54, Houston 51. Not a pretty game. If you were sitting down to watch beautiful basketball, you didn't see it. It was a slugfest, and Duke came out on top, a 3-point winner. North Carolina State over Marquette, 67-58. This is
you want to talk about an ugly game?
Yeah, very similar to the UConn run when they won the national title. Won 5 straight, and then went on to win 6 more straight to be national champs. And also familiar to State's 83 run.
That's what I say.
They had to get it. They had to win the tournament to get in the NCAA.
Just like the 83 run.
And I'm sure they told this. I didn't get to see all it. It's halftime before I got to see that game. But also 50 years since they beat Marquette before.
That's right.
In the national championship game.
Yeah.
50
years, I did see that. That was very odd, wasn't it?
1974 against Marquette.
I'm going to guess Monty's wearing red tomorrow. Because you didn't list State as your hated. You listed Duke as your hated. So he probably won't be wearing red, but he'll be pulling for red. And I got no quarrels with that. I'd be pulling. I would too if it was State and Carolina.
A friend of mine I coached with at East Gaston, Ernie Bridges, Lee Devin said this to him several years ago, and we'll text back and forth to each other. If Carolina wins on the same day and Duke loses, if Carolina wins, it's a good day. Carolina wins and Duke loses, it's a great day. That's kind of our mantra.
That won't happen tomorrow.
And that won't happen.
It can be a good day for you, but it can't be a great day. Tennessee last night had a big run. This game was tight, and I think they had about a 10-0, 14-0 run, something. What you would call late in the third quarter or something like that. And then they held off a furious rally. The score got a lot closer than the 7-point spread that it ended as. But this is Tennessee's only their second time getting to the Elite Eight.
Elite Eight, yeah.
Was the other one with
Bruce Pearl?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was.
I thought maybe you had to go back to what's the King? Bernard King?
No.
Days. You remember Bernard King playing there? And Brett don't.
Bernie Nerdy Show.
Bernie Nerdy Show.
Yeah.
When did they under Pearl? When?
I don't know, but I heard that.
They made the Elite Eight under Bruce Pearl.
Okay.
I saw he was on the set last night of one of the 2 broadcasts.
Yeah, and Candace Parker was on there praising him for kind of getting Tennessee to the level that they're at now.
Really? Yeah, he did.
He did kind of revive it.
He's getting Auburn there too. Yeah. I just think the SEC, evidently, was a little overrated on the whole entire season.
Right.
I thought Auburn was a really good team. They just
Tennessee's been the best team in the conference, and Tennessee's still proving that they're the best team. But
love of that tournament, you get one bad game. You don't get a second
when we saw
opportunity.
that first day, those first couple of days, out goes Kentucky, out goes Auburn. There's another one. Who else got ousted there real early in their first game? Florida. Yeah.
Florida lost early.
Florida was I could see
they were
7
seed.
Yeah, they were up and down.
I went down to practice Charlotte on Wednesday before the third, and Mississippi State huge. I thought I didn't really, but they looked terrible against Michigan State. But I thought at the time I believe I want to play Michigan State. Just looking at the size they had. I mean,
one other team that looked really good. They just had a bad matchup was Texas A&M. Now, they looked great against Houston.
Yeah. Oh, they score 100.
They got beat 100-95.
109. Of course, it was overtime, but most of those points came in regulation, obviously. But I don't. I think just by watching that A&M and Houston game, I think Houston was okay with playing that style of ball, but they just locked down last night on Duke. They wanted it to be a half-court physical game, so they made it a half-court physical game. Monty's answer on who is he pulling for tomorrow, still trying to figure out how both could lose. But yes, Moo U for the win. He's talking about State and the agricultural school that there is in Raleigh. I see that was Friday. Thursday scores, just to recap real quick. Connecticut still looks like the team. As much fun as we're having with this, or disappointment as we're having with this, if you are the Carolina fans right now, it still looks like it's UConn's tournament.
It does
to win, because, and you know what, they're just taking care of business every single day, whipping your butt.
Obviously, three of us hope Duke keeps winning, but I think UConn and Purdue would be a great championship matchup.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Because Purdue's playing just as well as UConn is.
Oh yeah.
UConn on Thursday night, an easy winner. Where did my score go? I had it pulled up here. There it is, 82-52, a 30-point winner over San Diego State. They got eliminated by the same team, San Diego State did, but quite a bit earlier.
You were talking earlier about how hated Duke was nationwide. If UConn would go on and win, I can see them be developed into that, because Hurley's kind of too, like, we beat you and we're better than you. He's kind of got a little bit of a arrogance to him that I, but that's a long. I think he got the best team, but it's still hard to repeat.
Now, he could become
hard to repeat.
He could become a face that a lot of people dislike.
Right.
That's true.
If he keeps winning.
Right.
What's you guys' thoughts of the program and him right now? Not how good are they, but do you like what they're doing? Do you wish it would stop? Or
I don't, because I've never liked UConn. I go back to the John Calhoun days, 1999, where they wrecked Duke's best team ever, in my opinion.
But one thing on the Duke side, though, Mike, is he's a Hurley.
No, that's true. He's a Hurley.
He comes from the family. Bobby's brother. His dad was.
Yeah. So it's really hard.
What was the dad's name?
I don't hate them.
Bob and Bobby.
I should remember that. A legendary high school coach.
Yeah, he is a Hurley, so I got to consider that.
Plus UConn is not very close in proximity to us, so I can tolerate it.
They're way out there in Stores in the country.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I don't mind them winning. Obviously, I'd like to see Duke beat them.
Monty says can't pull for a Hurley. So obviously, I will be pulling for UConn if they're in this national title game against anybody other than the Duke Blue Devils. Butch says one of the reasons Duke is hated is because of the success of Coach K, his relationship with Bobby Knight. I agree with all that. His demeanor and the fact that he could and did look Dean Smith in the eye and not back down. Throw in small doses of Jaminski, Ferry, Gene Banks, and Leitner. He put Leitner, and I'm sure that was spell check, but Leitner. I've always wondered this. Maybe Jason can tell me the answer to this. Why is it always the white guy? Now yeah. It's always the really good white guy.
Well,
that gets hated.
If you,
he did mention one African American here in Gene Banks. But I can't imagine anybody hating Gene Banks.
These Duke white guys just have a different personality.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch how Leitner acted, or how Grayson Allen and how Filipowski, if you look at their personality,
they fall right into my description of spoiled brat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way they come in, you know.
I'm a Carolina fan, but I can point blank say right here, Dean Smith recruited Danny Ferry. He wanted him.
Right.
He wanted Christian Lake.
See, I can't even remember that far.
So same time when you say, I hate these guys, well, I think it's part of the rivalry because they recruit the same type players too.
Well, that makes a rivalry even more so because if one team's getting the players you wanted, and I'm sure that's happened to both sides.
But then I see guys like Cormac Ryan and think, why did Duke not go after him? I mean, he would fit right in at Duke.
Perfect fit.
Yeah.
They could use a 25-year-old.
Well,
have they got anybody from the portal yet other than
Young?
Just a couple. Well, they've got a couple, but nobody great.
They better get them a couple of veterans.
Could we have used
Theo John a couple years ago?
Could we have used the guy from North Dakota State who went to Alabama?
Oh, that'd been another one to hate. But
he doesn't carry himself.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe if he put on the Duke uniform, he would. Maybe that would change his personality. But
a few more scores to go through. Connecticut, we mentioned, won by 30. Carolina losing to Alabama. No matter what no matter which side you want to win, that was a classic basketball game.
That was a great game.
If you're not pulling for either, great.
Yeah, a lot of
offense. Not great for me, but yeah.
I know. Just the competitiveness, though.
If you're just an observing fan.
Yeah, anytime you have a game that ends one possession.
Yeah.
That's kind of like.
That's the NCAA tournament.
I know they didn't carry the weight, but it was kind of like the Saturday when Wake Forest beat Duke.
Mm-hmm.
If you wasn't a fan of that game, if you were just sitting there watching, best college game I'd seen up to that point.
Both teams were just making big shot after big shot.
When Wake and Duke played at Winston-Salem, the Wake ended up winning.
Right.
But it was just, I believe 6.
The court storming
6
game.
points was the most anybody got. It was just back. I sit there, I said, well, if you're just a fan, but if you pull for either one of them, it's, especially if you do, because, it was going to be an upset if Wake won.
Clemson keeps rolling. Gotta love what they're doing right now. Brownell is going to get a 10-year extension soon.
Clemson
77-72 over Arizona.
A lot of the talk is about their two big guys in the middle, P.J. Hall and
Brooks.
No, that's State.
That's right.
But you're probably saying
he did move from Clemson to NC State, but Shefflin.
That's weird.
But their guards have been awesome.
If
Hunter,
if Chase Hunter
and Gerard
good tomorrow, they got a great chance of winning.
Their guards have been great.
I agree with you.
And then the nightcap on Thursday was Illinois edging Iowa State. I honestly thought going into that game Iowa State would win that game, but
Illinois has a lot of offense.
They led from start to finish, didn't they? I don't know if they ever trailed unless it was 2-0 or something early in the game.
They can play with UConn.
It's unfortunate, that they're in that same bracket because they could play with UConn, but if they're somewhere else, they'd really be sitting good because they're very good.
I think they could knock off UConn.
Well,
they're 8.5-point underdog, which is
Jay Wright said that was the game to watch. Did
he?
He felt like
more than I thought it would be. Yeah,
I can't believe Seth Greenberg picked Duke to beat Houston. I thought he'd give him the kiss of death.
So did
he's
Barkley.
not a Duke fan. Well, Barkley did because he's in there with Kenny. He don't ever pick Carolina. It don't matter if they're playing, a Pee Wee team.
Yeah, but pick Carolina and Alabama, he didn't. He didn't want
roll tide.
To win.
He said roll tide before the game.
Well, he'd said earlier he was going to say a curse word, and that was the roll tide.
Funniest thing was last night. He's trying on those hats. You guys see that in the post game, and he was afraid it wasn't going to fit even in the last hole. He said this is going to be embarrassing, and they said just leave it open. But he did get it to fit on his head. And he is hilarious. I mean, he is hilarious. I love it. That's really a good foursome there that they have doing that.
Can I throw out one thing?
Yes.
I don't want to hear any
More than
more.
one.
And I know you've heard this on and on. I don't hear any more trashing the ACC about.
Yeah. Hey, I was guilty.
I was guilty about their weakness.
And you bucked me the morning I did it, and
Well,
you were right.
I felt like they were better than that, and and I know from year to year it varies. But I mean, when you see the three that's left, and for a long time last night, it looked like the two that you maybe expected to be there weren't going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Carolina was out, and
well, they were
Duke was closest to losing.
Duke was most likely to lose out of those.
And like I say,
they've done well.
The ACC does it year in and year out.
Is college basketball down, up, or where it should be?
It's not where it was years ago.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Well,
either.
the talent,
just because you don't have all the teams with 3 and 4 year players.
Right.
So
and they're going to have to do some adjusting on this net thing, because the teams have figured it out. Conferences have figured it out. Like the ACC was 9-3 against the Big 12 during the season.
Yeah,
and I think it's went to 12-3 now, because Houston got knocked out by ACC. Clemson beat Baylor. NC State beat Texas Tech. So that went on from 9-3 to 12-3, and then the SEC there's 8-8, 7-7 in the play. So but yet at the net, I believe Brunell said this the most. He said the Big 12 teams played weak schedules, and the net takes the metric of how bad you win or how bad you lose. And they build up their resume, and then when they get to playing against each other, they're all high nets. It's got to be changed.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. Some
like
changes need to take place.
Somewhere, I know we're not where we're on. Okay, sometimes it becomes this, the eye test. But
yeah.
Well, what was the biggest jip in as far as not making the tournament? I think it's Indiana State.
We'll never know.
I know, but
I mean, you just
they would have been. A lot of commentators have talked about how much fun it would have been to have Indiana State in the tournament.
I tell you what, every year somebody's going to complain.
Oh, of course, always. Yeah. It's always going to happen.
But every year, one of those teams that gets left out wasn't going to win it.
No, probably not. That's right.
I don't think they were.
But this year, Indiana State seemed to be the one that was trendy that didn't make it.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people still say Seton Hall and St. John's should have been in there.
Yeah, St. John's.
Any of those should have been in over Virginia. I think that's pretty obvious.
And
at
Pitt
this point,
it is
over
Virginia in the ACC.
Yeah, Pitt should have.
Felt like
Pitt,
that was and I think they went back a little bit, and you look at history.
And look at
Virginia.
Yeah,
if you're gonna,
you can't do that.
If you're gonna use the data, but don't base it on there's good a couple years ago.
Well, my problem with the ACC is if the teams think they are good enough to be in the tournament, you got to win regular season games, like when you play Louisville and Florida State and Boston College. I mean, Georgia Tech. You can't lose those games.
Did Virginia lose to some of those? I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but Virginia got in. I'm talking about the ones that didn't get in. And like State, before they got hot, they were 17-14. How does a team that good, that's capable of being that good, how did they get to 17-14?
Yeah, what flipped? Where did the switch flip?
They look like they should have finished in the top 3 in the ACC.
I guess if you figure out how that switch flipped, you'd be a Hall of Fame head coach.
Yeah.
Right.
Real quick, we got to take a break. Don Revel says Danny Hurley is even more unlikable than Bobby Hurley. Jason Barber says, what's your thoughts about Shohei Ohtani gambling issues?
There are none.
It'll be quick. I think he's totally innocent. It's pretty. I think the interpreter being the fall guy to cover for Ohtani. Obviously, well, I don't know. Jason's a Braves fan, so. But I don't think Ohtani had anything to do with it. Ohtani wouldn't take questions at his press conference. Well, he's been I'm sure he's been told by his lawyer not to do that. When asked about authorities were in investigation, the issues in his camp wouldn't answer the questions. So, That's just my thoughts. My opinion is I don't think he had anything to do with it. Now, it might come out next week that he did, but I'm not 100% sure that he did. Mike, the lyrics, quickly.
That was your turn.
We haven't got his yet.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, Brett got
the Beach Boys.
Brett got the Beach Boys.
I'm sorry.
God only knows.
So it is my turn.
It is your turn.
All right, we're going to take our final time out. Yesterday, this is no offense to anything to do with basketball. Yesterday was a good day. It's after midnight, and I've got you on my mind. Back in a moment.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flip through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their many floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Ashman Street in Lincoln. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Lake Electric Company was founded in 1984. They are licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia. Safety and quality is first in everything they do. For all your electrical needs, serving Lincoln County, Catawba County, Burke County, Mecklenburg County, and all the surrounding counties. When it has to be done right, call Lake Electric. Let them take care of your family. Lake Electric Company, 4362 Providence Mill Road, Maiden. Call 704-483-4000. Online at lakeelectric.com.
Stop by Lowe's Home Improvement in Lincolnton for their great deals on items you use around the house. Need to update around the kitchen? Then shop a great selection of appliances and some up to 30% off retail prices. Buy Craftsman's 20-volt max battery and get your choice of matching Craftsman cordless tool free. Update your workshop area with a wide selection of shop tools, only $99 each. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Shop Lowe's in Lincolnton for the things you want to buy today.
Century Drug in Boger City is the first pharmacy in the area to offer peace of mind for you, your caregivers, and for your family with a convenient poly pouch, strip pouch system, just like the one you've seen on TV. No more sorting through and keeping up with your multiple bottles of medication. No more filling daily reminder boxes. No more calling in meds and worrying about refills. You'll receive all your medications once a month in a box that dispenses a convenient, easy-to-open strip pouch that is perfectly labeled for breakfast, lunch, bedtime, etc. Century will be the link between you and your doctor to assure you that your medication profile is up to date and refillable. In other words, Century Drug will do all the work. You just take your medications and be healthy and happy. Call or come by for a visit today. 704-735-2551. Century Drug, East Main Street in Lincolnton.
Peeps, come on, peeps. Got no guesses.
No guesses from me.
Evidently, the listeners don't like this song as much as I do.
Say it again. Yesterday.
Yesterday was a good day. It's after midnight, and I've got you on my mind. Come with me, never go away. Every day we will fly. Yeah. Every day we will fly. Don Revels should get it right. He flies about 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah, he was saying at Duke State games at American Airlines Arena. I asked if he could get us in.
How many American Airlines arenas are there?
Or Center. Maybe it's Center. Is that isn't the Miami one?
Miami's American Airlines, or
Arena?
was, because we've been to it.
Truist Fields.
Yeah.
And what's I don't even know.
Yeah, Dallas is Center, American Airlines Center. I guess Miami's still
Dallas.
American Airlines Arena.
It was at one time where the Heat play.
Yeah.
Was American Airlines, but I think there's other ones too that American Airlines sponsors. Yesterday was a good day, Mike Powell. It's after midnight, and I've got you on my mind. Come with me, never go away. Every day we will fly. Yeah, I've gave you guys hints.
Boston.
I've gave you guys hints. And no, I'll go ahead and answer Mike.
You said late 70s.
Mm-hmm. Boston wasn't the only group in the late 70s. This one is, okay, right in Mike's wheelhouse.
Oh.
That's a little bit of a hint because, and I'm not going to tell you why, because that would almost give it away if I tell you why. If anybody should know it, it should be Mike Powell. It was a time that the
Journey.
Oh, Brad is so good on those hints.
Journey.
Yeah. You know why that's in your wheelhouse?
Why?
San Francisco.
Are you still lost? He's telling you where they're from.
San Francisco? Okay. Late 70s.
Butch Parker says Journey, of course. With that in Mike's wheel. So Brett knew what was in your wheelhouse.
And I didn't know what was
and
in my
Butch knew what was in your wheelhouse. But Mike didn't know what was
I didn't
in
know there was some San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I knew it wasn't the Grateful Dead, so.
I started thinking about Jefferson
Not that those are the only two.
Starship.
Yesterday was a good day. It's after midnight, and I've got you on my mind. Here is the key to this one, okay? And this is great because we've already determined it was Journey. And my bonus question on this one, if we ever get there, is who is the lead singer on this song? Woo! How about that?
Well, it's obviously not Steve Perry.
How you know it's not?
Well, are you because
he sang backup on it.
Oh.
It was a transition time when this guy was going from the lead singer of Journey
to somewhere
and he
else.
eventually left the group, departed. No friction, nothing like that. He just eventually left the group. Let's see. And his name was Greg Rowley, R-O-L-I-E. The band's first keyboardist, performed as lead vocals on the band's first 3 albums. How about that?
Then they found Perry, and the rest is history.
Yep. Then these other 2 guys joined the band in '77, and they added Robert Fleischman as its first non-instrumental vocalist. But that I thought that was interesting. I watched the video probably 5 times last night. This guy singing, and Steve Perry then coming in and singing with his great voice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you guys still haven't got it though. Still haven't got the right song or the song. You haven't guessed the song yet, have you? I don't think you've even.
Well, I'm
guessed
just
the song.
eliminating ones I know it's not, but that it's not helping.
It's going to
me.
make it tougher just because. Now I've told you. Well, you know, I had to give you that. It's not. You know, we know it's not. Don't Stop Believing.
No.
You know, but it is my favorite song by Journey, and I really like it, even though it wouldn't be most people's favorite song. I'm guessing Don't Stop Believing would be.
That's the most popular one.
And Wheels in the Sky is another one, and what else is some of.
I always like Faithfully.
Faithfully's really good.
Yeah.
All Steve Perry on the.
Any Way You Want It.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Lights.
Lights is great. When the lights go down in the
Old
city.
Sherry.
That's a good one. Yep. This was all prior to that.
You
Pretty
might
sure
just have
79.
to. You might just have to give it.
Yep.
Or give some more lines.
Well, we'll try that one more time. If I can find that page. There it is. Yesterday was a good day. It's after midnight and I've got you on my mind. Come with me, never go away. Every day we will fly. The chorus is the title of the song.
Right.
Comes up with that right now. That's the same way you love me. So it's Just the Same Way is the name of the song.
Same way.
Just the Same way.
Never
You guys not know that song?
I think I do because I thought I recognized that couple of those lines in there, but that title doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen to it after the show and see.
Coming up on the draft, what are you thinking? Any surprises we're going to see in the NFL draft? It's still a month away.
Yeah. But they're hyping it already, of course.
Actually, it's just less than a month away now because isn't it on the 25th? First round's on the 25th of April. Let's do this. UConn's not going to win the title. Who is? If UConn is not going to win the title, if they're not going to win it, and I think we would all sit here and probably pick UConn right now.
Yeah, I would. But I think Purdue's the second best team.
Yeah, I'm going Purdue, second best. I just think with Edey, the way he's playing, the guards are better than they were.
I wish I knew.
Their history, though.
Yeah, their history is upsetting.
How Purdue and Illinois has done during the year. That would.
Yeah.
Because if they've beat them twice, it's
Brett
hard
can
to
tell
beat
you that
somebody,
in a minute.
It's hard to beat somebody 3 times. I'm curious how many times they played.
Yeah. But that wouldn't be until the national championship game. So I do think Illinois is capable of knocking off.
And I'm saying that you're saying if Connecticut lose, if Connecticut don't get there, then Illinois is.
Well, one way, they may lose in the title game. I'm just saying if a scenario don't have them winning it.
Well, Purdue would beat Illinois twice, by 5 and by 6.
Whew. That's not big margins.
It's not.
That's not big margins.
I'm gonna say Illinois if Connecticut don't.
So you're saying that they would lose today? Because that's who they play.
Right.
So they would have to lose today. But a lot of times you see a team. If a team gets a big win like that, it drains them so they can't win the next one. But now here it's a little different because if that was semifinal Saturday and the game's only 2 days later, I think you have less chance of winning than you would here because you at least get almost a week in between. But Clemson, Alabama, is this the football playoffs?
I mean, I'm basing that just on if you said if you don't pick UConn, who do you pick? And I'm say, well, I'm Illinois, but they could get beat today, and that only makes it a non-issue. But
anybody go with Alabama or Clemson to win?
No.
I don't either.
I'm not so sure Tennessee can't.
Somebody in our bracket.
I'm like you. Tennessee is a team to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in our bracket pool has Clemson and NC State in the title game, and Clemson winning.
Wow.
I hate them.
And I'm guessing it's a Clemson fan because they did 2 brackets and they picked Clemson in both of them.
What foresight.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's the odds that it's NCAA tournament's different from any other sporting event, but what's the odds both those teams will be in it? They're still slim. We think about where these teams are right now. And I was talking to Lane this morning. I said, you think about it, you're in a great position, but you're still only halfway.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You've won 3. You still got 3 to go against stiffer competition.
Yeah. That's how hard it is.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is. I just think that
obviously what State's done has been a great achievement, but I think for either one of them, reaching the Final Four would be
an accomplishment.
Yeah, that would be huge.
I would say Tennessee Purdue winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would take Tennessee Purdue winner. If UConn's not going to win, I would take Tennessee Purdue winner myself. I think that's going to be a really good basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
2 coaches that are really clicking right now. NC State and Duke. I mean, that says enough. I mean, you got 2 teams that are 15 miles apart and see each other year after year. Did they split the regular season? That makes it more intriguing.
They only played
one regular season, one ACC tournament.
Right, okay.
But they did split.
Yeah.
And just like I told you guys as a Duke fan, I was glad they were the underdog last night. Helps. I think it helps Duke that they lost to State.
Yeah.
Last.
Yeah.
I think that helps you a little bit.
That's when the criticism really started about them being soft, not caring, not really.
Well, and had they beat State, they wouldn't be playing.
No,
State.
they wouldn't.
Because
No,
State
they
wouldn't have made the
They
tournament.
wouldn't have made it.
Tournament.
Yeah, who in the world would they be playing? Whoever State beat last night, help me again with that.
Marquette.
Marquette, that's probably who they, I mean, if everything kind of gets drawn up the same, throw Pitt in that spot. Let's say Pitt was where State, because I kind of thought they deserved to get in if anybody did.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say they were in State's
Of course,
spot.
if Duke beats State, they may move on and get to the ACC championship. Might not win it, but get to the finals probably. Maybe
bump up their seed a little bit.
Probably.
It'd change the whole tournament.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be because beating State, but it could have been somebody.
Yeah.
Afterwards, that.
Yeah, I would rank UConn 1. I think you guys all Purdue second. I'm just going with the Elite Eight, ranking the Elite Eight. Purdue
I would
second.
put Illinois third.
Illinois third over Tennessee. Tennessee fourth, maybe, if that's the case.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I'd say Tennessee or Duke fourth or fifth.
And then put the other one. Yep, say put Duke fifth, and then that leaves who? Who have I left out? Who are the other three?
Alabama, Clemson, and State.
Wow. Hey,
tough,
with the exception of UConn, this thing's even.
Yeah.
Clemson,
I think
Clemson's playing great defense.
And you said 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's the ones that are playing each other today. How we kind of ranked them.
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut's playing Illinois.
Yeah.
Purdue's playing Tennessee tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it won't happen like that, but that's you still seeding them right now based on what they are. That's here's something that ironic could happen too. We talked about Virginia, like Purdue maybe on that Virginia mission. Here's something that could happen. Duke wins tomorrow and Tennessee wins. You could have that
rematch.
That rematch from last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if Duke's as good as some of these teams, but that schedule's kind of lining up for what they call it, a revenge tour.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It's starting to for Duke. It's starting to shape up as a revenge tour.
Is.
They lost their last game to Tennessee. They lost their last game to NC State. Not saying that. I just think mentally that gives you just a little bit of edge mentally. I think. Don't you guys?
Yeah.
If you lost to the team the last time,
yeah.
so that's the only thing I'm getting at.
And of course, Carolina's a non-issue, but I even thought this. State won 5 in the ACC tournament, and they beat Duke. Every time they met, they played a higher seed, and they got to Carolina. And I was already seeing, of course, I wasn't counting us beating Alabama, but I thought, well, we're going to see
ACC matchups,
and we're going to see Clemson, who's been knocking off all the top seeds in that region along the way because they beat Baylor was a 3.
Yeah, Arizona.
Arizona was a 2, and if Carolina gets there, they're going to have to play. And I thought that don't bode well with the way State ran the tournament. But that's doesn't matter now.
We got to run. Appreciate you tuning in. For Mike, Lenny, Brett, I'm David. Thanks for tuning in to Sports Talk. Big week. We'll see you next week.